Hello and welcome to the EPG Pathshala on criminal psychology. My name is Dr. Gayatri Arun Kumar from the Department of Psychology at the Indraprastha College for Women, Delhi University. This module number 3 in moral psychology is going to talk on the role of culture. We will begin with the introduction to the concept of culture, on the culture morality rink and cultural values. These are the following learning objectives. 1. To understand the concept of culture in psychology. 2. To get a perspective of the role of culture in moral psychology. The key words to note in this module are culture, relationship with morality. Now we begin with the introduction to the concept of culture. Culture is much more than foods, festivals and costumes. It is the set of ideas that coordinate actions and construct meanings of a group of people. Culture is much more than foods, festivals, costumes, and when we are coordinating actions and meanings, it becomes very complex and interplay. More often than not, these ideas are both implicit and automatic. In most human beings, these ideas guide our practices, structuring institutions, and generally infusing the everyday business of our lives. As people engage with cultural practices, artifacts, and institutions, their thoughts, feelings, and behaviors come to reflect the cultural values and belief. So, one implication of the cyclical, transactional relationship between cultures and psyches is that culture is not an independent variable. Culture may predict, but it does not cause. A second implication is that neither cultures nor psychologies exist independent of each other. Without human beings, cultures don't exist, and without cultures, human beings don't exist either. Indeed, theorists nowadays increasingly argue that what separates humans from other species is our distinct ability to produce and perpetuate cultures. More often than not, these ideas are implicit and automatic, guiding our practices, structuring institutions, and generally infusing the daily business of our lives. As people engage with cultural practices, their behaviors come to reflect the culture's values and beliefs. Yet, this is only half the story. Culture shapes individual minds and behaviors as much as the minds and behaviors shape culture. As a result, people are active cultural agents rather than passive recipients of cultural influences, says social psychologist Chi-Yu Chi. They create, apply, reproduce, transform, and transmit their cultural routines in their daily social interactions. One implication of this cyclical, transactional relationship between cultures and psyche is that culture is not an independent variable. I repeat, culture predicts but cannot cause, and neither culture nor psychologies exist without each other. Human beings and cultures are in a symbiotic transactional relationships. Psychological processes influence culture. Cultural influences also work on psychological processes. Individuals' thoughts and acts influence cultural norms and practices as they evolve over time. And these cultural paradigms influence our future thoughts and actions. These future thoughts and actions influence the persistence and change of culture over time. Indeed, theorists increasingly argue that what separates humans from other species is our ability to produce and perpetuate these cultures, beliefs, and values. The next subtopic is the culture and morality link. One of the many possibilities of understanding culture is proposed by Clifford Geertz. Geertz understood culture as a system of control mechanisms, plans, recipes, rules, instructions that guide behavior, according to Geertz in 1973. This opinion is based on the assumption that man is exactly the animal that is the most dependent upon such control systems that exist outside the skin. But these control mechanisms, rules, systems are not only outside the skin, they are located in the heads of people. Hence, culture also represents shared knowledge and or meaning of systems, which consists of theories about what a good person is, personhood, about nature, society, and the meaning of life, for example, in religion, or its embeddedness in a transactional sphere or cosmos. These rule systems are partly implicit, partly explicit. This means that sometimes they can be learned or reconstructed directly in the social situation, but at other times they are hidden and thus have to be explicated or explained. Only humans have explicit rules. Only humans teach them intentionally. Morality is therefore one of those rule systems, those control mechanisms, and it is a unique one. Morality is not only a central aspect of culture, but also unique to humans. The next topic is cultural values. Morality did not arise from individual choice, but from a collection of human decisions to try and create a structure while living together. Constraints by the environments and natural human desires influenced these actions. The evolution of human social instincts overlaps with the evolution of culture. Therefore, cultural morality has provided a way of managing conflict. It is indeed helpful to think of cultural morality as a conversation that is consistently changing. This conversational model takes into account differences in opinion, value priorities, and power. I repeat, opinion, value priorities, and power. Moreover, just as there are different dialects of a common language, what is said and what is received may be deferred to the noise or misunderstanding or disagreement. Ultimately, though, all the various voices, whether conflicting or not, do not undermine a common culture. Cultural morality requires behavior that is cooperative, that is considerate of others. It discourages potentially unhealthy self-interest and encourages other regarding emotions beneficial in society. Furthermore, it can provide an outlet of self-interest motivations in other regarding actions. A very famous study by Schwartz, 1992, on how value priorities are affected by contextual social experiences across varying cultures is interesting. In particular, Schwartz has identified 10 value types that are prevalent in nearly all cultures. They are self-direction, independent thought and action, choosing, creating, exploring value. The next one is stimulation, the pursuit of variety, excitement, novelty, and challenges in life. Hedonism is another, which includes pleasure and satisfaction, including sensuous gratification of oneself. Value of achievement refers to personal success through demonstrating competence according to social standards. The value of power, which is the status and dominance, including dominance over people and resources. Security is another value, which refers to stability and peace, including safety, harmony, and stability of society, relationships, and self. Another value is conformity, maintaining the social status quo, including restraint of actions, inclinations, and impulses likely to upset or harm others and violate social expectation and norms. Another value is tradition, which refers to sharing social experiences, including respect, commitment, and acceptance of customs and ideas that traditional cultures or religion provide. Another value is benevolence, which is the concern for the welfare of immediate persons, including preservation and enhancement of the welfare of the people with whom one is in frequent contact. And the other value is universalism. Universalism refers to the welfare for all people and nature, which includes understanding, appreciation, tolerance, and protection for the welfare of all people as well as for nature. These values also share certain compatibilities and conflicts. For example, the value of universalism and benevolence both are concerned with the welfare of others. Therefore, a person who values universalism will also likely to value benevolence. Inversely, examples of conflicting values would compare hedonism against the values of conformity and traditions. Amongst these 10 value types, Schwartz identifies 56 universally valued qualities whose importance and value type classification are culture specific. The remarkable research laid the groundwork for conducting culture specific moral phenomenon in the future. Additionally, Schwartz also conducted a study on cultural values, defining cultural values as the conception of the desirable that guide the way social actors, for example, organizational leaders, policy makers, and individual persons, select actions, evaluate people and events, and explain their actions and evaluations. To infer national value priorities, individual values within 49 nations were segregated by Schwartz to represent overall themes of the broader nation. Schwartz selected 7 value types based on societal issues. The opposing dimensions were autonomy versus conservatism, hierarchy versus egalitarianism, and mastery versus harmony. This study examined a dominant social group within the nations, studying urban school teachers within the most common school systems. Teachers are believed to play a role in value socialization, and they are the key carriers of culture, reflecting a mid-range of value priorities in society. A comparative analysis was conducted with samples of college students in each nation. The value profiles of the 5 nations had significant results in that not only did the students and teachers yield similar results, but similar regions had similar values. Illustrating a correlation between geographical proximity and shared values, Schwartz proposes testable hypothesis based on this national data within his area of work, which includes work centrality, societal norms about work, and work goals. Schwartz talks about work centrality as the importance of work relative to 4 other areas of life: relative to leisure, community, religion, and family. It can be more found in mastery and hierarchy values and less in affective autonomy, egalitarianism, harmony, and conservatism values. Work centrality is described as assertive, controlling, exploitative activity. Work centrality is most central in Japan, USA, and West Germany. Societal norms define these aspects of meaning. There are 2 different types of societal norms about the working field: entitlement norms and obligation norms. Entitlement norms are where the person is an equal, autonomous social actor. Obligation norms, on the other hand, are where the person is an integral part of the larger collective who is required to behave according to the expectations attached to his or her work. Lastly, work values refer to the goals or rewards people seek through their work. In other words, they are expressions of more general human values in the context of the work setting. There are 4 types of work values that were distinguished in the study: intrinsic, extrinsic, social, and power. No one type of goal is likely to be the most effective across cultures. Naturally, Schwartz's value surveys does have certain limitations. Suffice to say, however, that the overall convergence both across individuals and across cultures is remarkable. Yet, different types or sorts of people are more differentially sensitive to some values than others. Thus far, the present discussion has touched upon the relationship between culture and morality, which is intrinsic. Morality is a constitutive feature of the culture concept as well as concrete culture. Culture cannot be defined or investigated without heeding morality. But morality also cannot be understood without reference to the culture concept. Secondly, cultural rules complement natural laws in explaining and understanding human activities, behaviors, cognition, affect. Finally, the most important study of morality necessarily leads to a perspective that conceives of psychology as a primarily cultural science rather than as just a social science or a natural science. That's the end of this module. Thank you.